Now, let's go to the Sydney papers because it is all happening on the Sydney papers tomorrow. We'll start with the Daily Telegraph. And I love the fact that we've got a James Morrow exclusive. Macron adds a splash of vintage French wine, the frog of war. French President Emmanuel Macron knew all along that his deal to build submarines for Australia was in trouble, with Prime Minister Scott Morrison repeatedly raising direct concerns, torpedoing claims by Mr Macron that Mr Morrison lied about the future of France's deal to build diesel submarines for Australia. It can be revealed that the PM made multiple attempts to raise concerns. I love this, but then let's go to the crosstown rival, the Sydney Morning Herald. PM lied, says Macron. Scott Morrison has been branded a liar by French President Emmanuel Macron in an incendiary claim that has deepened a rift between Australia and France and created a political storm over the Prime Minister's integrity. And obviously there's a great piece by Peter Hartcher, PM given the cold shoulder, and David Crowe's analysis and things like that. But I think you could have picked that both of these papers were going to go down the exact route that they've gone.
You're either on Team Australia or you're not, Jenna. Basically, that's what that says. And you know what's interesting? Now we know why Scott Morrison didn't want to go to Glasgow. It had nothing to do with signing up to any sort of deal about climate change.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to see Emmanuel Macron.
I just wanted to say, you could practically feel the heat that was coming off mobile phones of PMO staffers on that flight from Rome to Glasgow when he got off, and he was like, right, everyone's been backgrounded, everyone's been briefed.
How about the accusation, though, as well of selfies? That this journo's taking selfies with the French Prime Minister.
I think Trudy McIntosh from Sky was like, there wasn't.
No.
Cool story, bro.
Oh, wow. Like, this is what they're there to talk about, climate change.
Exactly. This is what gives me the absolute irrits. Like, this is now dominating. This will probably dominate day 2 as well.
Absolutely.
And we are trying to focus on, mate, let's bash Greta's, stance on climate change, because she's saying you need to get aggro every once in a while. Meanwhile, we're too concerned with these middle-aged blokes saying he lied. No, he lied. Sort it out, you bunch of hot messes. Over to the Financial Review, and India, China and Russia kill the climate deal. Finally, an adult's in the room. God. Glasgow writes Phil Coorey, Britain and the United States have accused the major economies of Russia, China and India of failing to grasp the urgency of climate change after they led efforts to torpedo progress at the G20 summit and dashed hopes of meaningful progress are being made at the COP26 in Glasgow. Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who sided with those nations to oppose setting a firm deadline to phase out coal, said the impasse underscored the only way to enlist developing nations in the fight against climate change was by making available low emissions technology. That was in the plan, wasn't it?
For something around that, wasn't it? Yeah,
technology.
Some idea that these technologies we don't know of, that will get there eventually. Interesting though, Boris Johnson today, Jenna.
Yes.
And he's a very optimistic kind of bloke. He genuinely is. He likes to talk it up. And he was saying we're at 1 minute to midnight here in regards to what's going on.
By Bojo.
Yeah, and he's not very confident about what's going on. And I think here you've got, Coorey reporting tomorrow, India, China, Russia killing this idea. So will this be, pardon the pun, a bit of hot air in the end?
Well, this is what also people are going to question, specifically people sitting in Middle Australia or people that are not tuned into the political class at all. You've flown all of these heads of state, a lot of big business, specifically from Australia, the big mining and resources heads have gone over to attend this conference. And if nothing comes of it, what's the point? You've literally wasted emissions by sending these people to Glasgow to achieve nothing.
But usually aren't these meetings usually just the formalities of what's already been thrashed out privately?
You'd hope so.
That's usually the idea, isn't it? So it's just sort of a get-together, photo opportunity, sign the dotted line and away we go.
Yeah, let's have some drinks on the sideline. You'd hope so. But yeah, it's just, it's really, 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 really interesting. Let's go to the Herald Sun and the race that stops the nation. I feel like the Melbourne Cup has been completely buried, hasn't it? Lexus Melbourne Cup, I guess we'll have a crowd at Flemington tomorrow. Well done, Melbourne.
But there'll be more people at Randwick Racecourse watching it on the big screens than there will be allowed at Flemington. I saw that little cross-city jab today. I think it might have been out of the Daily Telly to have a crack at the Herald Sun, and I thought that was quite funny.
Of course, of course.